Hi, everybody. I'm Joe, and I have a confession to make. I did, in fact, give the movie Divergent a 10 out of 10 rating on IMDb and 5 stars for the book on Goodreads. I did. Yes, I did. Furthermore, I think that Battlestar Galactica is the worst television series ever made. I do. I know. Shame. Let's just get on with the tag. Let's just go. Come on. Hi, everybody. Joe Compton. I am an author of a crime thriller called Amongst the Killing, which is a dual perspective novel. Each chapter is told one chapter by the detective on the case and one chapter by the murderer he is pursuing. And they tell their entire story, chapter by chapter, linear fashion, in their own words. Go check it out if you can. It's on Amazon in all formats. I have Kindle, Nook, paperback, and audiobook, all available. Go check it out. Also, go check out my site, which is GoIndieNow. It is an online platform that fosters, highlights, and supports indie artists of all art forms. So go check that out. And I am here to sass it up, to be saucy, and passionate, because I got some unpopular opinions, man, and I'm about to share them with you. I am. You already heard one of them in the intro, but I was tagged by Myk PIlgrim. Thank you, sir, for tagging me in this awesome tag game, because this is an awesome one, and I'm real excited to do it, as you can tell. And yours was great. Christie's was great. JD's was great. I've enjoyed all the taggers who've done this one, and let's get right to it, shall we? All right. The first one is a popular book or series that you didn't like. And right off the bat, I'm going to hit hard. All right. I'm going to lose some people right off the bat. Yeah. Because my choice is The Stand by Stephen King. This encyclopedia that is called a novel, this book that looks like the phone book, is just, let's forget about the content for just a second, okay? Let's talk about the logistics of actually trying to read this monstrosity, because when you open it and it folds, if you're in the first couple pages, in the first few pages, okay, you've got this nice anchor at the bottom. But when you start to get into the meat of it, when you get to like page 312, it starts to flip open, and then it flaps and flips and flops, and it doesn't hold together, and you're kind of like trying to hold it. It's like a freaking slinky all of a sudden, and it's just that alone makes me upset about this book. But the idea that we can follow so many stories and so many things, and they're supposed to connect and have this meaning, and it takes forever to get to that. And spoiler alert for anybody who's out there who's not read this book, but I have to say, I mean, even if you really love Stephen King, if you are like the biggest Stephen King fan ever, and you like this book and you really like this book, you can't sit there and tell me you like the ending. The ending, this ambiguous ending, this terrible payout at the end of all of this hard work of reading this book, and it just craps all over you at the end. And that makes me so mad when movies do that, but it certainly makes me madder when books do that, because books, I invest a lot of time in books because I'm a horrible, terrible reader. So it takes me a while to absorb them, and I like to absorb them. I like to actually, let it set in and read it. and I'll go back and read a few pages back, and so you can imagine how long it took me to read this monstrosity. But it just it just when it got to the end, I threw the book. I literally took the book and threw it out the window. I'm not kidding. Somebody got a free copy of The Stand out there in the alleyway of where I was reading it. I think I was in the Marines at the time, so another Marine picked it up, and I passed on that awfulness to somebody else. Uh, it's bad. It just nightmares. All right. So number two, a popular book or series that everyone else seems to hate but you love. Well, I don't know if there's a lot of haters out there. I know there are some, and it really stems from the movie, and I tend to agree with those. If that's your beef with this, um, then I do sympathize. I understand where you're coming from. The movie version of this book is just plain awful, and but you should not be holding that against the book. If you refuse to read the book because you saw the movie and didn't read the book, that's a different story. But I encourage you, I implore you, if you get a chance, pick up the DaVinci Code by Dan Brown. This book is chock full of adventure. It is action packed. It is nothing like the movie. I mean, it's literally nothing like the movie. I've never, well, I could make this number 9 on the list, but well, actually, I couldn't because the movie's not better than the book. I'm sorry, never mind. But this book is absolutely the polar opposite of the movie almost. I mean, it's uncanny, unreal how screwed up the movie is. I just can't believe Ron Howard was behind that, and Brian Grazer was behind that because if they're fans of Dan Brown, they really screwed him on this because uh, I think the book is so rich. Is the dialogue is snappy, it's fast, it's witty, it's charming. It's got this beautiful woven mystery inside of it that just is like a gift. It just keeps on you keep trying to unwrap it to get to the prize, and the more you unwrap it, the more wrapping paper you have to go through. It's amazing. I really can't. I'm again notoriously horrible reader, and I read probably 3/4 of this book in one night. That's how good it was to me. I couldn't put it down. And when I can't put a book down, you got to know that that is worth reading, at least giving it a try. So if you haven't, because you saw the movie, um, I mean, even Robert Langdon in the book is described completely like if you looked in your mind at Tom Hanks and then you read how Dan Brown describes Robert Langdon, they're nothing alike. They're absolutely. You wonder why. I mean, you obviously know why Tom Hanks did this movie because he's Tom Hanks, and this movie needed a big star, and Ron Howard loves to work with Tom Hanks, but absolutely, he doesn't even look like that in the book. It's mind boggling to me, uh, but that's my choice. So number 3, a love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you did not want them to end up with. Warn people for spoilers, or an OTP that you don't like. I don't know what that last part is, but I'll go ahead and tell you that the love triangle I'm going to refer to is Romeo and Juliet. And I know a lot of people are going to probably debate me on this issue, and that's fine. But truly, Juliet doesn't end up with anybody. I mean, she doesn't. I mean, oh, spoiler alert! Sorry, spoiler alert. I mean, if you don't know the ending of Romeo and Juliet, though, I don't know what planet you've been on for the last 20 years, last 100 years. Um, but well, I don't think it's that old, but you get my point. Um, but Romeo and Juliet, she doesn't end up with either of them. I mean, technically, if you want to really be technical, she's with Paris. I mean, that's just the way it worked out, right? I mean, that's how it ended up, And to me, um, it's just, I mean, it is the quintessential sad story. I mean, these two stupid families, the Montagues and the Capulets, and their bullshit feud, um, you know, kept us from probably the greatest ending of all time in a movie. I mean, this would have been the coup de grace of of happy endings. I mean, this would have been the happy ending, right? I mean, this is what it's supposed to be, and no, it's not. And of course, because of that, it's probably one of the best things ever written. And Shakespeare is masterful in laying that out and just boom right there for you. But and I mean, because of the moral of the story as well. But and how that's infuriating in its own sense. But that's, to me, that is the quintessential love triangle, um, that really I would have loved to see. I would love to see, you know, if Shakespeare had an alternative ending in mind. I would have loved to know that. But one, I don't think I'll ever know in my lifetime. But anyway, number four, a popular book genre that you hardly reach for. Well, I have right now, I just looked it up this afternoon, 227 books on my Kindle. Only one of them, even subgenre, hands, uh, keyword, has romance in it. Only one. Only one, and that's Gina Kubo's Love. And that's the only romance book that I have on my Kindle right now. It's not the only romance book that's in my bookshelf. My wife has a bunch of them, but and I've read a couple of them. I'll admit I have, but romance, I just here I am spouting off about Romeo and Juliet and how there needed to be a happy ending, and I can't read romance. Yeah, that's the duality of my life. There you go. There is the rub. There's the irony. Um, but seriously, I just don't have an interest. It doesn't pique me. It doesn't. I don't. I won't go out and if someone puts a romance book on my Kindle or sends me something or puts it in my face and says read this, I'll read it. But I'm not gonna seek it out. I'm not gonna look for it. I'm not excited about it when it comes around. So there you go. Number five, a popular beloved character that you do not like. All right, there. This was a tough one, but then I started to get into it, and then I realized it wasn't that tough. Holden Caulfield, uh, Catcher in the Rye. God, JD Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. He's so whiny, so cynical. I mean, he's really bitter, and that's that's fine. Cynicism and all that is funny and sometimes witty and charming to me, and I enjoy cynical movies. I enjoy cynical writing. I enjoy, um, cynicism to a point. This book is him whining. It is him uh, being a little just he even admits in the book itself he's a 13-year-old boy trapped in a man's body. you know uh, just awful. He's a terrible character. He's very plastic and plain too, so on top of all that, he's not very interesting to think about. But anyway, so then number six, a popular author that you can't seem to get into. I have always had this problem with John Grisham. John Grisham, I've read The Pelican Brief. I started The Firm. I never got through it, and never had a desire to finish it, honestly. I just don't get it. I, so he writes trial stories. He doesn't even make them that interesting, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the realism of it, the fact that he was a lawyer, so he speaks like a lawyer, and it kind of makes it interesting. But his embellishments are so they're so rigid and so stiff. They don't have any. They don't have any gusto. They don't have any oomph to them. The Pelican Brief is like I'd rather be licking stamps for 24 hours than read that book again. I mean, so I just never got it. I never thought he was exciting. And then you throw in, sometimes he goes to that deep South accent, and you throw that in there, and it's just like, okay, all right. So now I got to read syntax on top of you know uh, he goes to the market, you know. Oh, he moses on to the market, y'all. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, yeah. I just don't get it, and I'll never get it. Sorry. Number seven, a popular book trope that you're tired of seeing. Examples: lost princess, corrupted ruler, love triangles, etc. Well, I don't know if I would call it a trope per se. It's a style of writing that I don't particularly care for. Um, and I really dislike when editors tell me that this is something that I should be doing, and I really don't like it. And that's to put said, who said what, after every single piece of dialogue that you can imagine. He said, she said, and you know, he quipped, or he furrowed, or you know, she giggled, you know, or she whispered, you know. Look, I'm a smart guy. I can follow dialogue. I don't need to be reminded about who said it, especially if it's a scene with two people in it. Obviously, I'm going to figure out who said what. I mean, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Now, if there's multiple people in it, and or there's people coming in and they're talking in the background and they're introducing themselves into a context, then yeah, okay, there's a place for it. But it doesn't have to be every freaking sentence. It doesn't have to be behind every sentence. It just drives me crazy. I'm a smart guy. I can read that. I don't need to dumb myself down to my audience, or my audience doesn't need to dumb itself down to my stupidity because I decided I'm going to tell you every single thing instead of show you how the dialogue moves. I like to see, you know, to see the words in my head. There's a way of doing it without using set. There is, and I've seen it used very effectively. Now there is, like I said, there is some cause for it, and I should use it in certain instances, but I didn't use it not a single once in amongst the killing. Go look it up. Go ahead. I'll wait. But I did not use it once. Um, the dialogue is parenthesized, but that's all it is. There's no indication, but you should know who's talking by how I lead it into the conversation. I know that some people have commented that can get confusing sometimes, but you know, I'm sorry. But for the most part, people haven't really said anything about it, so I'm gonna keep doing it that way. So, um, you know, but I do think there was a couple times when I got confused, so I would probably need it. So, all right. Anyway, all right. Number eight, popular series that you have no interest in reading. All right. If I didn't lose you on the stand, I'm probably gonna lose you on this one, and that's Game of Thrones. I could care less. I've read the Red Wedding, um, and yes, I read it out of context. I didn't read the books before it or after it, and in that one segment, in that one opportunity, I figured out the entire series. I've never seen an episode. I've never seen or read a word other than the Red Wedding, and I can tell you exactly how the series ends. I can tell you who lives, who dies. I can just do it. It's so that one sequence gives everything away, in my opinion. And I know it's not everybody is involved, but you know, the writer has shown his tendency. George R. R. Martin, I think, has given us what he is capable of doing. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's not written well. I'm not saying that it's not worth it. It's just not something I'm into. When I figured it out already, I'm done with it. It doesn't excite me. I can't get into something like that if that's the way it's going to go. If I know how he writes and I've had a sample of it, and you know, it's just like if you're a publisher, or you're somebody who is making decisions on if you're going to put something out there in the world, you're going to read something and you're going to know within those first few pages. That's why I always tell you in the first 10 pages, make everything count, because after 10 pages or so in a novel, in a manuscript, I think it's 25, but if you, which is probably 3 chapters, I think it's 3 chapters, actually. But if you can hook them and keep them there after the 3 chapters, great. But most people don't get past that, and it's not anything that you're doing wrong. It's not you're a bad writer. It's not that you are that this is a terrible story. It's just not for that person. Um, and I know, how do you hook one person, right? Well, that's the nature of the beast when you're going out there and putting yourself out there and getting queried, and you're querying, and you're trying to get somebody to publish it. That's just how it goes. I mean, that's what you have to deal with, and that's what you have to take if you're going to go that route. And there's nothing wrong with going that route, and there's nothing wrong with attempting that, but that's what you're facing. So, um, that being said, that's how I approach most of the things I read. Um, if you don't hook me right away, I'm not going to be interested beyond that, and I'm gonna know the wheels of creating are gonna start turning, and I'm going to figure it out. And if it starts to go the way I think it's going, then I know I figured it out, and I'm done. I lose interest. I just do. Um, and I do have a tendency to figure most things out. I'm not. It's not a brag or anything like that. It's just something that's innately inside of me. You can ask anybody, the 20 or 30 people that don't go to the movies with me anymore because of that fact, and things like that. But you know, it just is what it is, and so that's why Game of Thrones will never be on my to be read list. It just won't. All right, number 9. The saying goes, the book is always better than the movie. But what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? Uh, this one was easy, actually. I was surprised how easy it was, how I came up with one so fast, and that is Die Hard. Yes, if you didn't know, Die Hard was a book before it was a movie. It was written by Roderick Thorpe, and it is a completely different tone than the movie takes. Obviously, the movie is geared toward um, making money and churning an action film, and made Bruce Willis an action star. Um, and rightfully so, because it's brilliant in its approach, and there's a lot of that in the book. There's no doubt there's that cat and mouse kind of thing between Hans Gruber and it is the same story. It has very similar elements. I won't tell you what's different. There are a couple things that are different, but anyway, it's John McClane and Hans Gruber. But it is a different tone. It's almost dark and brooding in a way. It's very like downtrodden and calm, and it's more of a thriller than it is an action piece. So the movie to me moves a lot better. It's just a lot wittier. It is a lot. It is. It just is so well made. It's my brother's first R-rated movie, by the way. Mine was Aliens, just for later trivia. But that is the case. It's just any action movie fan will tell you it's probably one of their top 10 films of all time, and if they're not action movie fans. I'm sorry, but that is that is the movie that I think is much much better than the book. There's a couple others. I liked Christie's answer about the Maltese Falcon. I never read the book, but I've seen the movie, obviously. So that's interesting. But anyway, uh, that's it. Unpopular book tags. Hope that some of you don't defriend me after this. Believe me, it's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But you know what? I don't care. It's my opinion. I'm going to live with it. I'm going to be fine with it. So just deal with it. All right. And with that, remember, it's always time to go indie now. Love all you guys, though. I love you. I love you, too. I love you. All right. Thanks, Myk, for tagging me. I don't know. Just everybody do this. Actually, I would love to see Travis West try this. Travis, give this a try. I want you to do this tag. I want to see Michael J. Elliott do it if he hasn't done it already. I think he's already done it, but if he hasn't done it, uh, you know, I would love to see him do this tag. JB Taylor, have you done it? I think you've done it too, haven't you? So, uh, but it gets hard when everybody's tagged to tag people. Travis, do this, man. Do this tag. I think you'd be really good at it. All right, everybody. I'd be really interested to see that actually. All right, everybody. It's always time to go indie now. Bye.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching our latest episode of our show. I hope you're enjoying what you're watching. And if you are, it would be really great if you could please like the video, share it, comment. It really helps us out. It gets us seen. It gets all these indie artists seen. And it's really an important thing for the YouTube community. So please, definitely like, share, comment the video that you just watched and any video that we produce. We always welcome feedback, and we always welcome uh, the community to share what we're doing. It's really awesome, and that you guys are a part of this and helping us out. Also, please, if you see something you like or you think that's interesting, or you listen to an interview and you want to learn more about that person, go to our website. Our website link is going to be right here on this video. So check it out and go and patronize these great indie artists. Go buy their stuff. We have all the links to everything you could buy from them on our website. You can also go to their website and sign up for their newsletters, sign up for their blogs, and help get the word out about all of them. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.